Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra and today I want to share my 12 most anticipated fall book new releases of 2025. If you guys have been on my channel before, you would know that I filmed a previous most anticipated book releases of 2025. I think it was back in March, and that pretty much covered most of the books from the 3/4 of 2025. So there are some books that did come out in the fall time that I did not include here, notably We Love You Bunny and Calabasas, but that was in the first part, so that's why I didn't mention them again. These 12 books have actually mostly been released already, but the good thing is you can go and grab them right away and read them if you feel so inclined. But I still wanted to make this video to show the books that I'm super excited for and the ones that I will be reading next as they get published. With the exception of 4 of the 12 books being memoirs, the rest of the books are new fictional novels, or they are like kind of sequels or in the world of previously published novels, and most of these are my all-time favorite autobi authors, so that's why I'm super excited to share the list with you guys. So yeah, there won't be any spoilers even for the books that have like series. I'll just give you like a brief synopsis of the first book in the series. The first book that I have here is How to Make Your Brain Your Best Friend by Rachel Barr. This was actually released on August 27, 2025. I already read this and I loved it. So I've been following Rachel Barr on TikTok for a few years now, and I love every time she posts something like insightful on the brain and how brain works, because obviously she works in neuroscience. This book is a great book if you're interested in how the brain can create neural pathways to form new habits, new behaviors, new skills, and new ways of thinking. It's also partially a memoir, so I'm considering it as a memoir as well, because Rachel goes through her own experiences and she also briefly mentions mental health. So yeah, I'm not gonna say any more. Pick it up if you feel so inclined. I really enjoyed it. The next book I have here is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and this was released on September the 2nd. I believe that you could read this separate from the original duology, which was the Divine Rival duology. And for those of you who have watched this channel before, you would know that I read that duology. I think it was actually about a year ago now, and I just binge read the whole thing and I absolutely loved it. It's like a romance fantasy, but it's also told through letters partially, so I really did enjoy the epistolary element to it. And so this one is actually, it goes to the story of the gods and goddesses, which is what I had wished for and hoped for in that reading vlog. I said I would love to read more about the gods and goddesses because they are at the foreground in some way. In the initial duology, we're more focused on Roman and Iris's part in their journalism of the post-war years and also in their relationship. So this one is a little bit different but also similar. I'm just gonna look a little bit down at my notes here because I'm not familiar with the story. I haven't read it yet, but I did write a little bit of a blurb here. It says, we follow Matilda, who is the youngest goddess of her tribe. She carries the gift of being a messenger. Now that the gods are warring, Matilda has to learn how to survive. Meanwhile, Vincent, a mortal boy she's never met in the waking world but has met in her dream, had written to her begging for her friendship in the bleakest night of his life a decade ago. His letter, left unanswered, has hardened his heart. Vincent did not expect Matilda to return his letter many moons later. So from what I gathered, there's also that element of letter writing, so epistolary format, and a faded love potentially. I'm not too sure, but I am excited to see what goes on between the gods and goddesses during the war. Then I got Hot Wax by Emil Rio. This was released on September the 9th. So this is Emil Rio's rock band music book, so it's focused on music, and I actually follow her on Substack. She really knows her music genre, and she wrote this piece about vinyl music and how it differs from the music that we consume nowadays. So I found that super interesting. I love music, but I don't think I know all the technical elements of music producing and all the little movements of music and music history, but I do enjoy it when it's discussed in fiction, and we are seeing more and more of these musical fiction books. I'm excited to read this one because I actually read her dark academia work, which was If We Were Villains, and I really loved that. And I also read her short novella called Graveyard Shift, and I also enjoyed that. So this one is really, really different, and I'm a bit afraid of picking this one up because the tone is quite different. But if she sticks to her own writing style and her way of storytelling, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. So now let me read you the synopsis as well. So in this book, we follow Suzanne in the summer of 1989, in which she tags along with a tour of her father's sensational rock band, Jill and the Kills. But slowly the band disintegrates under the pressure of internal struggles and violent acts that will take decades to uncover. 29 years later, after her father's sudden passing, Suzanne is back on the road to uncover what she has once lost: desire and a sense of adventure. The only problem is that her husband Rob is chasing after her to bring her back home. So I love kind of like road trip books and road trip novels as well. And the funny thing is, as you can tell, I follow Emma Rio's Substack. She's been on the road for I think about 2 years now. So it's fascinating how she blurs like her own life and experience with the novel that she wrote. So I think this is going to be a great time. So if you already read this one, please let me know what you think. This is the one where I'm a little bit hesitant on, but I think it's gonna surprise me in beautiful ways. The next book I have here is All the Way to the River: Love, Loss, and Liberation by Elizabeth Gilbert, and this was released on September 9th. So as you can tell by the title, it's about love, loss, and liberation, obviously. So this is another memoir by Liz Gilbert. I've actually read Eat, Pray, Love and Big Magic a few times, and I love those two books. Like, I think they have that transformative quality, and I think it's mostly due to the way she writes and depicts life and relationship and creativity. I do have a lot of faith in her as a memoirist. I've been hearing some mixed reviews, some people that hate it, some people that love it, and some people that thinks she deserved jail time. I don't know, I'm just gonna form my own opinion. I've actually seen her give a talk in Toronto about 2 years or a little bit over 2 years ago now, and it was really transformative, and she really does know how to work an audience. So I do think that I'm gonna enjoy this. So this one is also about her partner Rhea that she lost. So Rhea is said to be her one true love, and she was her best friend since the year of 2000, and then she became her romantic partner after Elizabeth Gilbert's second marriage, I believe. And then Rhea did die of pancreatic cancer back in 2018. So the reason why I'm interested in this memoir, because it doesn't just talk about grief and loss, but it also deals with addiction and love addiction and substance abuse. And from someone who's dealt with that and has been recovering the last 2.5 years, I think this is going to be one that I will resonate with. Then the fifth book on this list is This Big Boy, This Big Baddie. It's about, I think, 1,000 pages probably. Yeah, it's about 1,000 pages. This is Alchemized by Sin Lin Yu. Oh my god, my hair is everywhere. And this was released on September 23rd. I really did think I was gonna read it once it released, but I am daunted. I'm not gonna lie, I am daunted. So Alchemized was actually a famous Germani fanfiction posted online, and a lot of people have read it, even people that typically don't read fanfiction. I used to read fanfiction when I was younger, I will admit, especially on Wattpad. My first book is posted on Wattpad when I was a kid. This is from the fanfiction called Manacled. I never got the chance to read it because basically back then it was 1,000 pages or even longer. So but now that it's published, I can have my own copy. I'm definitely gonna read it. So let me tell you what this is about. First of all, this, from what I recall, how it used to be targeted as, it's a Harry Potter reimagining after the events of Harry Potter and if Voldemort had won the war at the end. In this dark fantasy novel, the world of Palladia is ruled by powerful and corrupt families and depraved necromancers. We follow the story of Helena Marina, who is imprisoned in this war-torn world of necromancy and alchemy. The problem is, she's missing part of her memories. She was once a promising alchemist, yet in her resistance record, she's labeled as a simple healer. However, her enemies doubt of her abilities, pointing at her bigger role in the resistance. She is therefore sent to High Reeve, a powerful necromancer of this new world, to uncover her deepest memories. I love books that deal with troubled memory and memory loss, so I just know that I'm going to enjoy my time reading this. I will definitely film a vlog whenever I do decide to read this. I feel like a lot of people read it when it first released and then it's died down, so I would be excited to see if more people are going to start picking it up during the winter months and filming vlogs. I don't know, I'm just really curious to see how the story is going to be. I might be wrong, but I think there are like 3 Hermione fan fiction that are really popular and that have been published this fall winter season. I could be wrong. If I'm right, let me know, and let me know which ones they are, because I don't want to go into the fan fiction discussion, but I do want to say that I'm not a hater of fan fiction, and I do believe that people can create wholly different worlds and universe, even if they had initially that intent of writing fan fiction. The next book I'm really excited to read because I didn't know that this was going to be published. It's called Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and this released on October the 7th. So I think Mate can potentially be read as a standalone, but it is a companion to Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Bride was the first Ali Hazelwood that I've read last year, and I really did enjoy it. It gave me like a little bit of the precursor feelings that I had when I started reading Twilight many years ago. It's mostly because it has at the center of the story this rivalry between vampires and werewolves, and then humans just coasting alongside this, tension. But this is not really a human focused story. It is focused on vampires and wares. So this one, we follow Serena Paris, who's an orphan human and a packless werewolf. So she's the first werewolf hybrid, and she's the one that's destined to bridge the gap between the ever-increasing animosity between the weres and the vampires. Only Cone Alexander, the commandeering were pack leader, can help keep her safe. So obviously, again, this is another romance type book, and I'm so intrigued to see how this one's gonna turn out, because I was enraptured by Bride, and I haven't been enraptured by like a romance fantasy book in a very long time. So yeah, I'm actually excited to read this one. The next book is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, and this was also released on October the 7th. Again, love these editions. This is another book dealing with alchemy, but this one is different because it gives more of an impression of dark academia in an urban fantasy setting. So this one is set in LA, like Hollywood as well, which is different from most dark academia books and most alchemy books, I would say, as well. Let me read you what I wrote down here. It says, influenced by her professor who taught folklore 517, local legends and urban myths, we follow a graduate student named Holland who is trying to prove that famous Hollywood deaths are actually caused by the devil for her thesis paper. The premise sounds kooky, but I am so in. I'm taking more of a risk on this one than I am on Hot Wax because I've never read anything by this author, but if I do enjoy it, I will be tempted to pick up her series as well. The next book I have is Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake, and this was released on October 21st. I'm actually already like 3/4 or halfway through this one, and I'm enjoying it. And honestly, anything by Olivia Blake, I'm gonna enjoy it and I'm gonna buy it. Before I go into my synopsis, I just want to say this is very much like modern feminism. Like, we are talking about women in power, women subjugated in academia. So if you don't like that, it's just not going to be the one for you. But if you do enjoy that sociology type lens, you're going to enjoy this. So this one follows 2 women who are convinced that entering the house, which is the most exclusive sorority on campus, will propel them to a future of their dreams. So first we have Nina Kaur, who's had an awful freshman year, but she wishes to forget it by entering the house. And then we have adjunct professor Dr. Sloane Hartley, who's struggling because she's a new mother and she's also dealing with a previous demotion on campus. So Sloane wishes are answered when she's invited to the house academic liaison. However, within the walls of this beautiful, high-achieving, powerful sisterhood, both women will learn how bloody cutthroat the house really is. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but it was kind of incited to be this type of novel, but it has to do with bloody dinners, and I won't give any more, but you know what I mean. And yeah, but I'm really enjoying this. The next 4 books on this list haven't been released yet, but they're coming out very soon. So first we have We Fell Apart by E. Lockhart, and this releases on November the 4th. We Fell Apart is the 3rd book in the We Were Liars series. As I understand it, this book also takes place on Beechwood Island, which is the family-owned island of the Sinclair's family. In this book, however, we follow a girl named Matilda who sent an invitation to Hidden Beach to meet a father she's never known. Instead, she finds 3 other stragglers of her own age with their own secrets and lies. Honestly, E. Lockhart has found like the formula of this series and she stuck with it, and I eat it up every single time. After watching season 1 of We Were Liars that was aired this summer on Prime, I picked up Family of Liars and I really did enjoy that, even though we kind of follow a cast of different characters. I mean, everyone is always related, but we always focus on a new set of 3-4 liars, and I really enjoyed that. So I can't wait to read this one, and hopefully they do end up making a season 2 and a season 3. So the next 2 books are memoirs of 2 of my favorite women. We have Bread of Angels, a memoir by Patti Smith, and the release date is November 4th as well. So I know I'm not unique when I say this, but I read Just Kids by Patti Smith last summer, I believe, and it really completely transformed my life. It made me feel less ashamed about wanting to be a writer and wanting to, you know, go out there and see the world and just do what I want to do. So all I know is that in Bread of Angels, Patti Smith plunges us into her teenage years, a time before leaving home for the Big Apple, before meeting her first love, Robert Mapplethorpe, and before becoming a poet, writer, and the punk rock genius we know her to be. We get an insight into her earliest artistic inclinations and inspirations, so notably Arthur Rimbaud and Bob Dylan, which she continuously mentions to this day, and I would know because I've been subscribed to her Substack in the last 1-2 years, so she's always talking about these two. And yeah, I highly encourage everyone to follow her, especially if you love music, poetry, literature, and travel. So yeah, definitely go follow her Substack. It's free and she updates every few days, and it's just a beautiful thing to witness. She'll come on and she'll post like a little clip and some photos and some text of what she's been up to, where she's been, what she's reading, what she's listening to, and you know, and she also talks briefly on politics as well, if that's your cup of tea. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this memoir. And this leads us to the next memoir that will also be published on November the 4th. It's Book of Lives, a memoir of sorts by Margaret Atwood. Yes, I had to add my mother's book on this list. I actually will be seeing her again for her newest memoir in Toronto. I think it's sponsored by TIFA, so Toronto International Festival of Authors, and I'm actually going this weekend to go see different types of authors, and then I will be going down again in Toronto on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember which date it is, but for her talk. So this memoir, I believe from the description, is the memoir in which Atwood truly illuminates her lifelong influences and the real-life characters that have shaped her fiction, such as poets, bears, yes, bears, Hollywood actors, and her husband, the writer Graham Gibson. Like I said, I'm excited to read this one as well. It's kind of funny that both memoirs are being released on that day, but I'm gonna have a feast for sure. And the last book on my list is one that comes out on December 9th, and the book is called An Archive of Romance by Ava Reed. An Archive of Romance is actually for super fans, me, of Effie and Preston's romance in A Study of Drowning. I've talked about A Study of Drowning so many times. I also talked about it on my previous new release anticipated list because she also released A Theory of Dreaming this year, which is the sequel to A Study of Drowning. So this book is part of that world, but it's mostly like a collection of letters, poems, art, and beautiful full color illustrations. So it's basically a novella. And I just want to say it's crazy because Ava Reed published 3 books this year. Yes, 3 books. Like, this is her 3rd one, and I've obviously bought everything and I've read everything, so I'm just so excited to get this one. This is going to be the last new release that I'm getting this year, and it's going to be a fun one. So for those of you who've never read the series, I'm going to give you a brief summary that I've given before of the first book. In the first book, we followed Effie and her nemesis Preston as they were tasked to redesign Hewitt Manor, the family house of the deceased but highly beloved author Emrys Murden. Effie, who's always believed in the stories of the Fairy King, venerates this author for his fable called Angahard, in which he writes about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King before destroying him. But in this tale, all is not as it seems to be, and the stakes run high as the manor is literally collapsing into the sea. So yeah, if you like that, definitely go pick up the first book and then the second one, and then you can join the rest of us fangirls for this novella that comes out in December. So yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching. I know I'm always late posting these, but I kind of enjoy it because by the time that I post it and you see something that you like, you can actually go and pick it up right away. And it was recently published, so there'll always be like discounts on the books, and you'll always be part of the conversation with other people that are currently reading it or about to read it. So yeah, as I said, these were my 12 most anticipated fall book releases. Let me know if you read any of them, and let me know if you are anticipating any more fall releases that I haven't mentioned. Maybe I will be interested in something that you guys share. And yeah, what have you been reading? What have you been reading this fall time? I would love to know, and I'll see you on the next bookish video. Bye!